got mail.
Hey everyone, it's great to be back with you once again because it's that time. So get ready to reminisce and relive the past here on the Nostalgia Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Shriver, aka the Nostalgia King, and I want to thank you for joining me on this journey down memory lane. Each episode, we explore different topics that transport you back in time, from high school memories, old technology, and past news events, to classic movies, vintage TV shows, and the retro video games we all know and love. So get your pizza rolls ready and crack open a nice cold can of Surge and join me as we take a dive into the past here on the Nostalgia Podcast. Hello everyone and welcome back to the show. I hope you're having a great day and that you're ready to take a trip down memory lane. This is episode 8 of the Nostalgia Podcast, original release date of Thursday, the 13th of February, 2025. Today I'm bringing you part 2 of my conversation with my friend Tom about the movies of 1993. I'm still amazed just how many fantastic movies were released that year. I hope you'll enjoy our recollections and background knowledge of these films, as well as the occasional entertaining tangents we might take along the way. And just a reminder, for your convenience, the Nostalgia Podcast is available on all major podcasting apps like Spotify and Apple Music, and we release the show on our YouTube channel as well. So whatever way you like to consume podcasts, we've made it easy for you to do so. Just check the description of this episode for all the links. Okay, with all that down, let's dive into our main topic today, Part 2 of our discussion focusing on movies released in 1993.
Yeah, the Jason Goes to Hell, not to bash it or anything, but I think there's a reason a lot of people don't really know about this one too much. And for me, by then, the Friday the 13th series had been played out.
I don't even know where this is in the whole...
You know what? The next question out of my mouth was, which one is this, by the way? Because I remember 1, 2, and 3, and I think 4 was called The Final Chapter. There's one of them's called The Final Chapter, and then they just kept making more of them. So I was like, and after that, I was like, I think I was probably a little more arrogant than I should have been, but I did kind of have the attitude where, you know what? I think I'm past these movies. I'm not, you know what I mean? When I was 16, they were cool, but now it's like, I'm not really interested in this anymore.
Yeah, and there was kind of like a canon to it where one led to the other, and it was supposed to be the same Jason, but then they rebooted the whole thing, and I wasn't interested in that at all.
Yeah,
and it had been many years, but I had lost total interest in this franchise.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even think I remember seeing much of this. I'm certain that I haven't like sat down and watched it, but part of it wasn't because I was not available to see it. It's just because I don't think I really wanted to. I was kind of done with the Jason movies, you know.
Jason Goes to Hell. You know what? It might be the last one I do remember watching. Then I think it might be. It starts where they capture Jason.
Right.
Girl running through the woods, like they all start or having, someone running. She's tripping. She's getting chased.
Yeah.
And then he's like there, and you think he's got her. And then all of a sudden, all these floodlights turn on. Choo, 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 choo. And he's surrounded. And then like a SWAT team comes in. They put a net over him, and they capture Jason. And that was the start of the movie, and they kill him. They're unloading all these guns on him, blowing him up and everything. And it's like body parts at the end of it. And then so you think he's dead.
And
I think to the morgue, and the heart is there on the table, and it just starts beating.
Oh, geez.
And then it gets the mortician or whatever the hell, not the mortician, what the medical examiner, I guess.
Or what do they call him? Maybe the coroner or whatever.
Yeah. Gets the coroner like to eat the heart or something. Oh, and then he kind of turns into Jason. It's just kind of what I remember.
Yeah, and
it's that one, and that may have been the last one. Like my friends and I were watching.
Yeah, and it's almost like especially in a horror series that goes on this long, like when it first comes out, it's legitimate. And then after a while, it has to kind of start like making fun of itself because it's just like, how many times can you play up the cliche, you know, where it's just, oh, there we go, right there, the Final Friday. The Final Friday. I didn't know that was one of the taglines in it. Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday.
That's
1983 American Supernatural. That's the thing too. It changed genres because now it's a supernatural slasher thing. But he was just a human early on, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was just a regular.
Or was that? Or maybe there was a supernatural, like he died and came back or something. But which ones am I thinking of?
Halloween.
Not Halloween. Yeah, the Halloween ones were like he was like just a regular person. He was just a psycho and really
This
strong.
was too. He was just a boy who got in the lake because these people were supposed to be watching him. The kids at the lake were like the camp counselors, and they
because it was his mom that was actually the killer in the
mom was
first
the
one.
first killer in the first movie. Yeah. So the plot, this is the one I was thinking of, where they lead Jason into a trap where the FBI SWAT agents attack and kill him with a grenade launcher.
Oh, jeez. Well, yeah, that's
sent to a morgue where his beating heart is eaten by the coroner. That's exactly what I remember. What I was just saying, yeah, and that's kind of like all I remember from the movie was that scene. I don't remember how it ended.
No, I think it's one of those movies that nobody talks about anymore for a reason. You know, it just the idea may have been neat or whatever, but the movie wasn't. It just wasn't any good.
This was the sequel to Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, Part 8.
I've never seen that one either.
No, I didn't.
In the movie in the video stores all the time.
Yeah,
and it just looked awful. We never rented it.
Yeah, that by that point, like by that time in the series, it was just like, you know what? It's like this isn't fun anymore. You know, it just
shit. Well, you know what? Jason X was released in 2001. And then a sequel with the crossover Freddy versus Jason. I did see that. I thought.
Me too. The thing for me too with the newer Jason, it's like who's the audience for these movies anymore? You know, I mean, I in theory should be, because when I grew up, that's when the Friday the 13th movies came out. But it just, you know,
I was, because like it used to be a thing. Friday the 13th used to be a kind of like a holiday, you know. You'd wait.
Yeah.
It was like, forward to. And back when you only had a couple channels, Friday the 13th, you know, you were on at night watching those Jason movies, you know.
Absolutely.
You'd have a marathon. Those days.
And when I was a kid too, when I was like 11 or 12, these movies like legitimately scared me, you know.
Yeah, but I was younger than that, you know.
Yeah, and now you see them and it's just like, you know.
There's one. It wasn't in this one, but I'm pretty sure. But there was one scene I remember. My friends and I, we would rewind and watch it over and over. This part where Jason is chasing this person in the woods, and they're camping, and she gets into her sleeping bag to hide, and he just grabs the sleeping bag and just whacks her against the tree while she's in it. I don't know why we thought that was so funny, but it was just like they were so creative with.
It was kind of like, it was almost like Mortal Kombat fatalities where they just had to get more and more.
But they were just kind of being funny with it at that point.
Yeah, because Jason Goes to Hell. It's like, come on. It's like now it's not
Freddy versus Jason. That was like the ultimate like joke.
Yeah, and it was like it was like the Alien versus Predator thing. You know, hey, maybe we can.
That ain't serious.
Yeah. So
that's Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Here's the next one.
Oh, The Good Son.
The Good Son.
Yeah, this one gets overlooked a lot, I think. I don't even think a lot of people really even know that the plot of it. What, his mom dies and he's sent to stay with with his auntie or her sister, right?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it does say it's sent to stay with his aunt and I guess his cousin, because I remember there's another boy played by, was it Elijah Wood?
Really? I'll have to watch that again, because that's.
I think it was.
He was in another movie that I saw. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I didn't realize that was him. You know? So
Yeah,
But
I was just listening to a podcast where they talked about Elijah Wood being in something.
yeah.
Oh, he was in
Well,
Deep Impact, right?
Impact, yeah, yeah, he was. That was the other one I was gonna say. But like Macaulay Culkin doesn't get like when you say the good son. When you say Macaulay Culkin, nobody thinks the movie The Good Son.
No,
They obviously they
that's
think Home. Yeah,
totally off his type. Is
yeah, yeah. And I don't think that people realize it's like he wasn't just the Home Alone kid. You know what I mean? He like
and that,
I
he
mean
was
I
good in that movie, and he was in that My Girl movie too.
yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
But he actually played like a villain in this Good Son, which was very interesting. I thought he was very good.
Yeah. Well, it goes unnoticed. It's like he wasn't just the Home Alone kid. He actually did. I unfortunately don't think I'm familiar enough with The Good Son to really be able to. What was the Faculty? He's in that.
No, no, this is the one I was thinking of that someone was talking on a podcast about Elijah Wood. He was in The Faculty. That's the other movie I was trying to think of.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I like
That's
that
a really
movie.
good one. That's
Yeah.
1998. We'll get to that at some point.
All
But
right, sweet. But no, as far as The Good Son goes, I don't think I have enough knowledge of it to really make a good. I mean, it is a thumbs up movie. Like if it was a Siskel and Ebert thing, it definitely is a good movie.
I remember liking it. I kind of remember the ending.
Yeah.
Remember the ending?
Oh boy, you
I
know
think
what?
it's on the cliff.
I'm
His
glad we're
mother has
bringing
to
the.
she's holding them both
Oh,
from following. She's holding both of them by the hand. The and she's got to let go of someone. Let me think. Hold on.
I'll have to watch this again because I don't think I was.
You know what? I think he's isn't it I don't know. I can't remember how this I'm remembering it where Elijah Wood was the one whose mother died, right? And
Uh,
he has to come live with
you know
Macaulay.
what? I'm gonna have to familiarize myself with this one because I really. It's like you ever seen if you. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Labyrinth, but I saw that in the
Oh, I love
theater.
it. You
I
know the
saw it in the
remake of
theater.
that?
Yeah, yeah. I hadn't. I went so long without seeing it that when I watched it again, I didn't remember a single thing. I don't even remember what I didn't remember what the movie was about.
It's a
And
tribute movie.
no, no, for real. And I enjoyed it. No, I really did. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but
It's a good movie. All right. So
produced.
a 12-year-old Mark Evans. So who plays Mark Evans? Yeah, that's Elijah Wood.
Okay, yeah,
He comes to live with because his mom dies, and then he comes
right,
to live with Macaulay Culkin and his family. And then so that's the case where like he gets jealous because now he's not the center of attention,
right, right.
and he starts to
No, the
notice. And then the mother at the end has to save either her son, who she
son
knows
or
is bad by then, or Elijah Wood's character because they're both
right.
hanging off a cliff, and she lets her son like fall.
Yeah, yeah. No, it wasn't received well by critics either. They some people tore it apart a little bit, but no, I think it's kind of what they call it, a psychological thriller where it's like it's got scary stuff in it, but it's not all hacking up or there's not a murder on the loose. It's just like
It's an
what's
interesting.
yeah, and I think
That's a real thing where you bring in someone into a family, and the kids are going to get jealous, and they're going to do things underhandedly,
yeah.
sneakily,
No, and then
act all
and
innocent.
they might harm each other. I mean
Yeah,
that's one of the things. It's like that you
got
don't.
a psycho.
Yeah, and the thing I like about it is that you don't. You're wondering how the kids are going to act. You know what I mean? And it's like since it's based in like reality, it's not some superhero thing. It's like what your kids might actually do that. And the idea that these events could actually happen.
So this got a
Yeah,
25% on Rotten Tomatoes.
really. Well, that's disappointing.
Roger
Huh.
Ebert, who deemed the film inappropriate for children, awarded it a half star, calling the project a creepy, unpleasant experience. You know what, though? It's like, this isn't a kid's movie. I don't know why he even would say
Yeah,
that. Like, I think
I.
it's because people assumed it had Macaulay Culkin in it. It was
That's
going to
what.
be a
Yeah,
family-friendly kid movie.
yeah. You know what's funny
Totally
is
wasn't.
I'm glad you mentioned that because Mel Brooks actually produced the movie The Elephant Man,
Mhm.
but he purposely didn't put his name on it
Yeah.
because people would think, and I'll bet that's why they thought that was a kids movie. Oh, Macaulay Culkin, he did that Home Alone movie. It's like,
Yeah.
but he doesn't always have to make comedies.
It's interesting because he did a couple good dramatic roles, with My Girl and this one.
Yeah, and it's a small part, I know, but he's in Uncle Buck too. So
I love that movie.
me too.
Yeah.
So
all right, so that's good. The Good Son. All right, next up in 1993, moving down the release schedule in order, is my favorite action movie of the 90s, Demolition Man.
No, wow,
I love this movie.
I did like it. It was one of my earliest. I didn't know who Sandra Bullock was at the time, and I like that.
Been in before that, it's like,
well, she did Speed, but I think Speed was after Demolition Man.
Could have been.
Yeah, but I like Dennis Leary's in Demolition Man too.
Wesley Snipes. No, sorry, I'm looking up Speed. No, this is Demolition Man. Yeah, Demolition Man. Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, Sandra Bullock, Benjamin Bratt. Oh yeah, he's in it. Dennis Leary.
Yeah, Dennis Leary's in it.
The guy in the underground.
No, the thing that I did like about it, because like the worlds that were separated were what everyone that just went along with not wanting anyone to get harmed anymore, and other people were like, no, it's like, they lived down in the sewers or whatever,
where they still ate meat.
Yeah, eating rats and stuff like that. Rat burger. But also, like, when he took Sandra Bullock's character down in there, like how trusting she was. He's like, that one scene, he's like, well, give me your watch. And she gives him her watch. And then he just buys the freaking burger with it. It's like, you're way too trusty. You're just going to give somebody you just met your watch.
I love that movie. Because a lot of these movies, now that they're, 30 years old, they're like showing in our own society now. Like, movies that were about our future, we're in that moment now.
I was going to say,
they're not too far off.
Yeah, you can relate a lot of it to it, because a lot of people will say that, the Simpsons predicted the future. I'm like, well, they didn't really predict the future. They talked about problems that existed, and it's just they haven't been addressed, And Demolition Man is kind of the same way. A lot of people were like this, or this is how society, when these people wanted to break off and do their own thing, and this is, So, but I really felt it was a pretty solid plot, to get, especially I think any movie where you take somebody out of their time and put them in a time 30 years ahead, like Austin Powers,
Yeah, that's true.
But like Demolition Man was a cool. Oh, there she is. Right. Yeah. Speed was 1 year later.
1 year. It was the next year. Yeah. 94.
Yeah.
So before that, she had done a minor role in Hangman. So this is like her biggest role.
Was she in a movie called Love Potion Number 9? Like a B movie, like probably made in the 80s.
Filmography real quick.
They might, I don't even know if they'll show it, but it's one of those movies where you're like, oh, they did this B movie called this, but there was one called Love Potion Number 9, and it's pretty, it's as bad as you think it would.
1992. That was the year prior to this. Yeah.
Really? Oh, I would have thought it was earlier than that. I would have thought it was like 85 or something. So, Hangman. No, I didn't know that. That's cool, though.
But I think this was probably one of her biggest movies.
Yeah. For me, I saw Speed before I saw Demolition Man. Or wait, was it the other way? No, I saw them around the same time. But I liked that Wesley Snipes' character was pretty good in that, and I liked Stallone's character when he got thrown into that and still was like, "What the hell is wrong with?" So no, that one was fun. I would watch that again.
Remember which restaurant that was
Taco Bell?
Yeah, Taco Bell was every restaurant.
Yeah, and salt wasn't on the table anymore.
You know how weird that seemed in 1993, because Taco Bell used to be this cheap ass restaurant.
Oh yeah,
and just get tacos, and it was nothing special. And thinking about, like, why would it be like portrayed in the movie like a 5-star dining experience?
Right. Maybe they upgraded over.
About it now, how expensive things are.
Yeah.
Like what we pay now for Taco Bell would have gotten you a 5-star dining experience.
Yeah, actually, the experience would have been, and So, and not it's something not everybody, because like Taco Bell was just like for everybody, but now it's like some places like for fast food even it's like no, you can't, you ain't got money for that. You don't have McDonald's money. Isn't that what people would say?
And it's endured, it's not like it's gone out of business or anything. I think Taco Bell will be around, just like
Yeah, yeah,
predicted. But
yeah,
yeah, I like the movie because it's got some science, a lot of science fiction tropes to it,
yeah.
things like that.
Eh,
Uh, Cryogenically freezing people, that was like when that got on my radar.
yeah, that was a big thing
You do
back
that
then.
for real,
Yeah, and I like too that it didn't try to take itself too seriously. You know what I mean? It didn't have a real like strong message, and it was just kind of like, hey,
It has that, but it's like you can totally watch the movie and not
yeah,
focus on like a message. Just take it as a schlocky action movie.
yeah, yeah,
But it
and it
does
is,
have some societal, points to it, like trying to
yeah.
control the
I
population. And is that a good thing, or do we want our freedom to eat rat burgers? This kind
Right, right. And I think that that's why movies like this hold up well over time because it's not based on an actual event or a specific thing. It's based on how do people think and how things change over time. And that's why I think to this day you can still watch it and be like, oh, that's cool. Maybe they thought society was going to turn out like this, and
I liked seeing how we used to think society was going to turn out.
yeah. Oh, dude, you should read
Played.
read publications from like 1920. Some of the things in there, and it'll remind you maybe a little bit of Demolition Man, where people thought that this was going to happen, and it's like some of the stuff is right, but some of the stuff is like, wow, man, who would have thought that? That's why they always make some people look smart because like, oh, they were a visionary, they knew this in Demolition Man. It's like, yeah, but they talked about a bunch of other stuff that didn't happen. And there's a lot of things from 100 years ago that people predicted that were just so incredibly far off.
It's actually kind of sad how little we've progressed. when,
No,
when people
yeah.
thought about what we were going to have, like
I
flying cars, and I mean,
I feel like
kind of almost
technological.
getting there, but we're not ready.
Yeah. Well, and I think some of the things they thought would happen just aren't practical. You know what I mean? It's like,
When you think about
well,
just the human nature, like, would you really want your grandmother flying a car
right.
through the air? And everybody thought the year 2000 was going to be like when that was the future. And here
Yeah.
we are 25 years later, and it's like, no, we don't need to be
No,
flying cars. This
I
is
worked at a
material.
I worked at a tech company that year, and we had to like keep people on watch during when it changed from 1999 to 2000. And like people were like genuinely concerned
They
about
were.
that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
and I'm
big
like,
thing. We didn't know
yeah,
what
and
was
I'm like,
happening the next
just
day.
yeah, no, that was, but yeah, Demolition
Takes
Man.
place in 2032, so we're not quite there yet.
Oh, geez, 7 years. 7 years we'll be eating rats in the sewer. So,
San Angeles, because
and
apparently there was a huge
do you
earthquake.
remember they had to wear the headsets to do it, and like if you wanted to
Oh yeah,
have intercourse, you had to like get government
that's
approval and
going to be
stuff
the
like.
future of the
But the
Apple
thing
Vision
is,
Pros.
right? That's the thing. It's like there's probably people like that. They're like, oh well, you
We're
can't.
working on that right now, just being
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to do it virtually through your headsets. I really see that's going to happen. I do think that's
Well,
going to happen. Man, they were actually pretty prophetic.
yeah. No,
And
some
in
of
the
the stuff.
self-driving cars,
Yeah,
we already have that.
yeah. Like in Total Recall had them too, not just Demolition Man. So,
Oh
but
God,
no,
we got to talk about
it.
Total Recall.
Demolition Man is a fun movie though. It is, and I think Wesley Snipes pulled the bad guy part off pretty well too, because I don't think anybody could have done that.
Yeah,
So
he was a good choice. And Stallone, can't go wrong with him. And
yeah, I like him, and I hear he's a decent human being too. So
that's always
I
good to know.
I really hate when I find out that an actor or somebody that I really like is a total douche. You know?
So after Demolition Man in 1993, the Beverly Hillbillies, the movie came
Oh,
out.
you know what? I hate to say this, I never saw this movie
I remember seeing this movie with my grandma.
in the theater.
Yes. And I thought it was one of the funniest movies I had ever seen.
Oh
It's
wait, what?
really
Jim
funny.
Varney? Jim Varney was the dad.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
What
actually, I
character
know a
did he
lot of
play?
these. A lot of the movies like that I don't see because I watched the show and I'm like, it's not. I just has started soon. I never really think they're going to be that good, but tell me about it, whatever you want. I'm not really that familiar with it.
I never saw the show either, but the movie is actually pretty decent as far as a comedy goes. You were
Is
talking
it?
about Jim Varney. That character name, like the one I was trying to think of, was Ernest. He did all those Ernest
Oh
movies.
yeah, yeah. Ernest P. Worrell. I thought you meant his name in that movie. I'm like, no, the character.
Yeah,
I'm
the
very familiar.
character that he always did.
I'm very familiar with the Ernest movies. Actually, Ernest Goes to Jail as being my favorite one.
He did a bunch of those. And then
Yeah,
sadly
no,
he died. And I think they were going to do a sequel to this movie.
yeah,
And then they
yeah. I
cut
was
it
gonna say
short.
he died just a few years after this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did.
Because he,
Rob Schneider's in this movie. He's pretty good. I really got to watch this movie again because it's got a lot of good gags to it. It's just a clean, not clean, but like that
yeah,
comedy. It's
you
not
you could
too.
you could watch it with your mom and still laugh.
Yeah, yeah. Who else
Hmm.
is in this?
Oh, Leah Thompson from
Horace Beachman. Yes.
well, and Leah Thompson was in the Back to the Future movies.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
she's in it. Um, Very funny movie. This one scene I remember when the grandma, you can see her in the picture there in the
yeah,
poster. She's in her rocking chair, and she doesn't want, like she doesn't want to leave the chair. You know, when they're moving from their old house to
right.
Beverly Hills, so they strap her to the top of the car. And then one scene is they're showing them driving down the highway here, or they're just actually before they get to the highway, they're driving away from their house. And
Right.
here comes a tree that they got to go under, and this big tree branch, and she just smacks it, and the whole chair flips off the back of the car with
Oh my
a
God.
dummy in it, but it's supposed to be her.
Right.
That is just that got me cracking and rolling. That is so
yeah,
funny.
that's how the show when the show started, it was actually in black and white. Like when they did the credits, they were all on the truck like that on the screen, and Granny was on the back in a rocker just on the top of the vehicle.
That's kind of like the first 10 minutes of the movie is them shooting at something, oil springs up, then
yeah.
the bankers, they sign, they're getting the money, then they move, they pack everything up just like in the song. And yeah, then the rest of the movie is them living in Beverly Hills, and then like some people trying to like kind of scam them out of their money.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good movie.
No, I did. I think the show did well originally too because it was such a culture clash.
Yeah.
We're gonna take these hillbillies that live out in the woods, and all of a sudden they become millionaires, and they move to Beverly Hills. They don't just move to like a nice area. They move to like where the
Their house
celebrities
is
are.
nice. I still remember how nice.
Yeah, I've
I had
walked
never
through.
seen anything like that growing up in Missouri. It's like
Yeah,
pretty.
I've walked through Beverly Hills before though,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice. It's as nice as you think it is. So
Yeah. If you have the money.
yeah, no,
All
hell
right.
yeah, I would too.
In 1993, after that was this classic, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Now we were talking about what qualifies as Christmas movies before, right? Or well, we brought it up.
Christmas movie? Is it a Halloween movie?
Right.
I fall on the side of I watch this every Halloween.
Yeah, and I guess it is a Halloween movie, but
Yeah,
they it's about Christmas. Well, because it's the Nightmare Before Christmas, and that's what Halloween is. And this was my first exposure to Tim Burton movies. Was I think the first Beetlejuice. And I always thought that stuff was just so bizarre. And then I see this, and it's like, the people like the songs in it, and the animation, the Tim Burton animation.
Yeah, the
is
stop
like,
motion claymation.
Yeah,
stuff.
like the Corpse Bride.
Behind the scenes making of documentary about this.
Yeah,
how painstaking it was to make every scene. They had like Jack, and they would pop his head off, and like dozens of different facial expressions.
Right, and they just keep shooting,
and they would change it out and just shoot a frame, change it out, shoot a frame, and then for every character, it's like
that's the thing for me, and
craftsmanship.
It makes me think of the Wallace and Gromit cartoons where the people that make these
dedicates their life to doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
how we get this great art. It's just like I wouldn't have the patience.
No, but I think this is just one of those things where like you're not gonna do something like this unless you're really into it. Like you wouldn't. No one becomes an art restorer for the paycheck.
It's funny that
It's
like he has quite a vision because you could spend all this time and do this and then it falls flat. But
yeah,
it's a classic, this movie, it's
and
it
just
really
like
is.
when I see stuff like this, I always wonder what Tim Burton's like. What are his dreams like? You know what I mean? When I see the animation and the Nightmare Before Christmas, or when he did that Corpse Bride movie too, just the way people move and their facial expressions are really like they can't hide their facial expressions the way he draws people.
I
And
believe
even
it's a Tim Burton movie. One of his most disturbing to me is the Edward Scissorhands.
yeah, that one's just like because that came out around this time or a few years
That's a
before the Nightmare
creepy
Before
movie
Christmas.
with Johnny
Yeah,
Depp.
and you just when you see that you're like, wow, it's like what is this guy like as an adult? I'm like, what is this guy like? He's probably very interesting, but like
Yeah.
when I see like the Nightmare Before Christmas movie and the songs in it and the facial expressions of the people and just the way he animates the bodies and stuff, and I don't I just those people are so interesting to me. I mean, like what. That's all I think of is what do they dream? What are their dreams like?
I'm just so glad
Because
we have people like this in the world to have
oh yeah,
art to appreciate,
yeah. No,
Glad we live in a world where a Nightmare Before Christmas movie could be made.
yeah, no, for sure.
It's
That
really
one's
cool.
fun.
And it's another one I remember again. This was a time, 1993. Almost all these memories I have seeing these with my grandma. This is
Oh, okay.
when
Oh,
she took me and she thought it was going to be like a nice Christmas movie or something. And she wanted to leave. And we came back, and I remember her telling my mom, like, I don't know if she felt bad. Like, I don't know if I did the right thing
oh,
taking him to see that. It was all
right. How old
weirdest
were you?
time. I was only 10.
Okay. I know. I could.
Yeah.
I could see the only thing I would have against a person that age seeing The Nightmare Before or any Tim Burton one of his movies is that I don't know if they would get it. You know what
I
I mean?
didn't get it completely because many years later I watched it and I'm like, it hit
It's
me in a
yeah,
whole different way. But just
yeah.
at 9 or 10, I was
I
like
don't.
so impressed just by the visuals. And
That's the thing, and I think as you would grow, there would be more you would get out of it. And the only reason I would think like, oh, see a 10-year-old to see that is that I don't think they would get as much out of it as an adult would.
yeah, it
So
was very surface level.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it still works on many levels.
Yeah, and it's not and not in a negative way that this would be harmful to a 9 or 10-year-old, but just it's
Mhm.
just like they would watch it and like you like you said you'd like the visuals, but like the storyline they might not get the depth of certain characters and
Yeah.
just stuff adults get the kids don't, which is normal.
Like I said, we watch this every year. We when we're decorating for Halloween, which we
Yeah,
do pretty
well,
big.
because the songs in it too.
Yeah, we
'Cause
put on the soundtrack while we're decorating.
I can't remember the one song I do like the "This Is Halloween" that one right there.
That's
That one I always remember that one. So,
Jack
but
Skellington, the
yeah,
king of Halloween Town. I just
and nobody
love.
makes and everybody makes Christmas movies. Nobody makes Halloween movies.
I
And I
know
think
they were
and
supposed to
I
do a sequel to this, but I
you know
think
what
there's
else?
like a video game that tells like sort of a sequel story.
Oh,
I think
really?
that's out there, but I keep
Huh.
hearing rumors about like he just did the Beetlejuice sequel.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Boy,
he
that
didn't
was a
direct this movie, but he produced it, and it all comes from his thoughts and mind.
okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna
But
say it's
it's a Tim Burton movie for sure. But
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I revisit this because I love the world.
I I like one of the things I like about being an adult that I couldn't do as a kid was tell what a movie's going to be like but oh it was directed by this guy, oh then I want to see it because
Right.
I like his I like Quentin Tarantino movies too.
Yeah.
I love
I'm a
that
big Tim
stuff.
Burton fan, though. If
Yeah, oh
that was on,
rightfully.
I definitely want to check it out. All right, let's
Yeah,
see what else. What came out after Nightmare Before Christmas in 1993? RoboCop
top
3.
three. Yeah,
One I wouldn't have seen in theaters, honestly.
yeah. Is this the one that had the samurais in it?
Honestly,
They
I don't
were
remember. This is the one
it,
where he had a jetpack, I think.
yeah, but
Flew
I think
around.
I think the Japan got involved in it and they had like competitors that were supposed to be their RoboCop but they were like samurai guys and it just
You're making it
it
sound more interesting than I
it
remember.
But honestly, I probably am because it wasn't really all that interesting.
I remember vividly the first and the second one. The third one, for whatever reason, I don't think I've
yeah,
seen the whole thing, and I remember only a scene where he was in a jetpack.
okay. That's close to the highlight of that. There's a reason there's no 4, and there's a reason nobody remembers 3.
And they
And it's just
rebooted this, and it didn't do too well. Even though I kind
well,
of liked the reboot, but it just
yeah. My problem with the reboots was though, because the first one was rated R, and the guy that directed it was Swedish, and it was actually a lot more gory and violent. They actually toned it down. And like for American audiences, like, well, we're going to take some of this out, and that's what the whole message of it was how gory and violent this is. And when they remade it, it was a PG-13, and I'm like, it's not going to have the same impact,
no. That
because
that was essential to those movies because I
yeah,
remember
the
the
first one
blood.
is
Every time they would
yeah,
shoot someone, that it would explode blood. They had
right.
the
No,
bullets.
and the first one was about that. It was about the violence and how gory, and what's acceptable. And the third one was just it's cheesy.
It's
I
kind of
watched it
like what
because
they did to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, honestly.
oh, don't get me started on that because I'm gonna rant about that for a day. But but no, RoboCop 3. I mean, see it if you want and have fun with it. But I did somewhat enjoy it, but I'm never gonna watch it
This would
again.
be a pass for me. So
Yeah, I don't follow like I would say see it just to complete the trilogy if you want, but
yeah,
if you don't, I'm not gonna yell at you if you don't.
like I could
So
talk about the first and second one for quite a while, but the third one,
yeah,
like I'm not even interested at this point.
yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
So after that one, we got the Adams Family sequel, Adams Family Values.
I don't think I saw this one.
This is, I think I remember. No,
Is this a?
I remember the first one just as well, but I liked this one just as well as the first one.
No,
It's
I
got
do
that.
like these movies.
This is kind of like what I consider a Thanksgiving movie because it's
Okay.
the part where they go to the camp. They send the kids
hmm
in summer, or not, I don't even not even sure if it's summer. I guess it's probably fall or whatever.
Was it Pugsley's camp that or was it Wednesday? Oh, what?
They both go. They send both
Okay.
kids
Oh yeah.
and they reenact
Okay.
the first Thanksgiving, and then
That's
they take over.
that's right.
They
Okay.
burn it the whole thing down, and
Yeah.
the camp counselors
The
are like tied up and they're
the
roasting
thi-
over
the
a spit.
the thing I like about that is like people don't want to know that happened. You know what I mean? They're like, no,
Yeah, that's
that
what
we weren't
MJ
nice
was
to them.
doing. You know, she was
But
like,
I think
"This is a bunch of bull crap. I'm going to show you
yeah,
what it was
and
really like."
I think that's why I like the Adams Family type mentality or those type of movies because it's like no man, it's like we're not going to make it look like it was sunshine and rainbows. It's like this was an awful thing that happened,
Yeah,
and we're going to show you that, and if you don't like it, then you need to frickin', you're not. What does someone people say is if your history always makes you happy and proud, then you're not reading your history.
yeah, exactly.
So, but I do like that movies like this will touch on stuff like that and play the, so-called villain or whatever. Because I do remember that scene though with Wednesday in it. And
Great.
yeah,
This
I
has
like how
got
dark her.
I can't remember the name of the sort of the villain lady. She plays the character who falls in love with Lester.
Okay.
Is it Lester or Fester?
Yeah, Uncle Fester.
Uncle Fester. Sorry, Fester.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what's her name?
Was it?
She's got a fame. They're both famous. Their
Well,
siblings.
Christopher Lloyd played. Was he Uncle Fester in the series?
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd is Uncle Fester, but who plays the lady who pretends to fall in love with them and just to steal money?
You know what? It's going to be one of those things where I see them and be like, oh, I didn't know that was them. So, because Dan Aykroyd is in the opening scene of the Twilight Zone movie, and I didn't know who he was.
Joan Cusack.
Oh, okay.
So
I like her. She was Jesse's voice on Toy Story 2.
She also plays in a movie called Toys with Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. Oh my God,
Yeah. Which for some reason, that movie, like, I loved that movie as a kid. It kept playing on Cinemax or something
Yeah.
in an impressionable time for me, and that's still one of my like Guilty
Toys.
pleasures.
It's so bad, but it is watchable. I don't
I
think
love
that's a
it.
terrible. I do like it. I will watch it, and I love Robin Williams.
Yeah,
But
she's in
w-
that. She's quirky and weird.
right around this time period, there was a group of us, the four of us that were friends. One of us, we'd go to movies a lot, and one guy would pick the terrible ones. I picked like Goodfellas and like good movies like that. He picked one of his was Toys. We're like, no, we'll go see Toys, and we saw it. We're like, that was
As a
like
kid,
I
that
watch it
movie was
now and it's
awesome.
fun. But yeah, we were like
Watch that
fourth.
movie again nowadays. It's another one that is kind of like it predicts.
Okay, you know what? I'll have to, yeah, because it was like the corporate thing and taking over his,
In the
yeah.
military, sort of
That, yep, that's
taking
right,
over
that's
and
right.
training people to be soldiers through video games.
Yeah, yeah. They did a South Park about that.
Yeah, there's a couple movies that are like that, like The Last Starfighter, is that one?
I noticed when you and I talk about a better quality movie, like we're talking about the Adams Family Values right now, we'll start talking about concepts that it introduces in ways it makes you think. And we'll start talking about all kinds of other stuff too. But no, with like the better movies, I notice we talk about like with Demolition Man, like how the world's going to be and what the values are about people. And I think a movie holds its value better, like this one did, because it's more about that rather than pop
That's
culture or
that's good screenwriting.
yeah, yeah. I know. And I
That
think the Adams. I
it's
do. I
more
do like the
layered.
Adams. Have you ever seen the original show, The Adams Family?
It's another one kind of like Beverly Hillbillies, where I've just seen little bits and pieces here and
Oh,
there, but I
okay,
never really
okay.
sat down and watched the series.
It's a legit good show. I mean, it
Yeah,
wasn't on. It wasn't a. People have this impression too that the Adams Family or like remember the Munsters,
yeah,
like those shows were on for a really long time. It's like no, those shows only ran a couple seasons.
like two or
They,
three seasons or something.
yeah, if that. I think some of them were like one. Like the Jetsons, I think only had like 1.5 seasons. It wasn't
Same
on
with
very
the
long.
original Star Trek show. It was only like three seasons,
Yeah, yeah,
after two or something, and then they gave him a third season after a letter writing campaign.
yeah,
That was just another thing that popped into my mind. Is like you think there's more, but it really didn't last that long.
yeah.
Well, that is
What
another one where they were going to have another sequel, but I believe whoever played
Gomez?
Gomez
Was it was
died.
it Raul Julia?
I don't remember.
Because he died right after he made that Street Fighter movie.
Yeah, Raul
Yeah,
Julia. Yes,
yeah. He had
he died in
90.
1994, which was the very
Yeah,
next year. So I think, yeah, they were going to have a sequel to this, and I wonder what that would have been like.
yeah.
Now they're
Because he
coming
did.
out with new reboots, but they're animated, and I've always been disappointed that they didn't kind of.
Isn't there a cartoon of this too? The Adams
Yeah,
Family.
yeah. There's an animated movie.
Yeah, but okay. There's Nintendo games too. There's Fester's Quest,
Oh yeah.
and there's a few others on the Genesis like Adams Family Values and stuff like that.
But it
So,
was
but
cute
no, Adams Family
as a
Values.
sequel. It could have gone wrong because the first one was really strong. I really liked
Yeah,
Adam's Family, and this one
yeah.
was it. I think it was like it didn't surpass the first one, but it's right there neck and
But yeah, yeah. It wasn't one of those sequels that bombed, and I like the idea
RoboCop
that
3.
like this family's supposed to be so dysfunctional, but like the parents stay together and the
Yeah,
kids come home every night. It's like it's the most functional family in the world, and they're looked at as
it is.
weirdos. You
Yeah.
know?
All right. Next. Oh, and they're just it's another kind of Halloween movie. You know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one
Those are
of
good
the
for
we were just
Halloween.
saying. Like, there's not too many Halloween movies, but that's like the Halloween family we all aspire to be around Halloween.
Right? No, for real. That was.
They taught us
Ugh.
all how to do it. All right. Next up is
Oh boy,
great
this is the.
comedy. We just talked about Robin Williams.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Doubtfire
I
3.
Here's something interesting that you're gonna want to know about this movie because Robin Williams was such a master of improv. He would improv scenes and throw in like because a lot of the stuff was just him making up a line and we'll go with it.
Yeah.
There's so much footage of the scenes that they can release anything from a G to an NC-17
I believe.
rated version of this movie.
Yep.
So, and because like Robin Williams would just do all this kind of crazy stuff, and they said he was so fun to work with, and like, the kids loved him, and Sally Field was great in that, and he was just a big child, he was the she came home to that party, and like he's there with the kids, and the goats are eating the cake because he brought a petting
He was
zoo.
like the fun dad, and his job was like to be like a voice
Yeah,
actor.
he was a voice actor.
It showed him doing all the different voices for
Yeah,
several different characters. I always thought that was cool. I was like, can I get that job?
yeah, yeah,
That seemed he just made it seem fun right from the get go.
yeah.
There was a
I
video
think
I saw on TikTok the other day how people were like really saying, "Do you remember Mrs. Doubtfire? Uh, that mom was a bitch." And they go into like, here we got the dad who's like trying to be a great dad to the kids, and he's throwing a
yeah,
party. She comes in and she just ruins everything, and then she
yeah.
throws him under the bus. Next thing you know, she wants a divorce and taking the kids. It's like, yeah, if you look at it that way now, it's like she was kind of like, and she was already like seeing another guy pretty quickly.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No,
when you
that's
watch it at first, it's like you think he's in the wrong, but nowadays it's like, what was wrong with what he was
it's
doing?
like what the hell, what was so bad? I mean, he he was a pretty fun guy.
Yeah,
But no, that was
so lucky.
that's a fun movie to watch is
I
Mrs.
was just looking.
Doubtfire.
This was directed by Christopher Columbus, and I was like, that name, and it's because Home Alone. He directed
Oh, okay.
Home
Yeah.
Alone 2.
Yeah.
He's done he did some Harry Potters.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's a comedic.
But no, I Mrs. Doubtfire is it's a fun movie, and it's got some things in it that probably didn't age too well, but
Yeah,
it's
but that's
and Rob,
that's what you run into.
I loved when he was doing the when how accepting they were. What did they call Aunt? They called his brother Aunt something, and it was because he was a gay guy and he did all
Yeah,
that in makeup. And
when
like,
he goes to get the makeover, that's just one of the best.
yeah, oh yeah, when he's in and they're doing the different, because he got
They're
to do all those
singing
different.
musical numbers while he's like getting
Yes, yeah, yeah. No,
and
that was a
some
really
of the
good scene.
iterations before they land on the older woman. They
That's
don't
right.
work at all, but they're hilarious.
Oh my god, I forgot about that scene where he was in the chair and they were showing him. Whoa, and that's when
Pierce
he went to the.
Brosnan, remember him in
Yeah,
it?
oh, that's right. He was Sally Field's new love interest.
Love
So,
interest, yeah.
but
And it's
but
one of
no,
those
this.
movies at the end where it doesn't totally have a happy ending because like the
Yeah,
parents don't get back together really. It's
that
kind of like
I liked
shows
that
you
they
how it
didn't.
really is.
I kind of liked that they didn't get back together because life can. This movie, I think I learned that life can still be really funny and a bunch of stuff like this can happen, but that doesn't mean everybody's gonna want to get back together
I
again.
remember sort of learning, just like you said, it's a lesson. I remember sort
Yeah,
of thinking as a
yeah,
kid when I saw this, like, that ain't right. They should, why aren't they getting back together? They're all
yeah.
happy now. And
I liked that they
that's
didn't. And it reminds me of the Santa Claus with Tim Allen when him and his wife.
another
It's
one
like no,
that,
yeah. It's like, oh, are you guys gonna get back together? It's like no, they're not. And it's like, sometimes that happens, but your parents can still like each other.
yeah.
Because like I do explain this to a lot of people. I'm like, I've been divorced now for what is this 20? It'll be 11 years this April, and we still talk to each other. We still do. You know what I mean? It's like just because you're not married to
It's
somebody anymore.
complicated.
Yeah, and it's like I do like that it had that lesson in it, but it wasn't like forced. I'm sure if it was a little more Disney-esque, it would have been like, oh, we'll get back together. But it's like, no, we still aren't a married couple, and we're not gonna be.
Things
But
nowadays have tended to go back to wrapping things up in a nice little bow instead of
yeah,
like like in this
I
movie.
I do like a lot of movies where it doesn't end. It can have a happy ending without everything going
Without the
wonderfully to.
perfect ending. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you know what? That's a better way of saying it. But like, I don't know if you've ever seen Cool Hand Luke, but he dies in the end, but it's a really kind of happy ending, you
Hmm.
know. So, but no, Mrs. Doubtfire. I did like the ending, and I do like that they were still in touch and they knew who he was, but the parents don't. They're not a couple anymore because they just didn't work out, and that's all right.
That was more realistic and yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Also,
it's a good lesson for kids to learn. So
when Robin Williams would make movies, he would purposely have them go into the city and get homeless people to see if they wanted to work for the day, and he'd have them like be extras and stuff in the movie.
wow.
Yeah, and then they'd eat for
Kind
the
of like a
day.
John Candy type of good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the other. It's like that's why we like him so much.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well,
Like actors that or other people that don't get why we. It's like, look at Robin Williams and what he was like. Look what Keanu Reeves is like. You know, it's like there's a reason we like these people. You know?
exactly. All right. That's a great movie. Let's see if we can get any more good ones. Here's the next one. All right, Sister Act 2, Back in
Okay.
Habit.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg. I remember this one more than the first one. It had better music. I like the soundtrack
Honestly,
a lot.
I think that is the thing that was better about this one was the songs were better.
They popped it up a little more because she was like back in like a show in Las Vegas doing a show with music, and then they enter a music competition, I think, as a bunch of nuns. Their churches and groups like that. So yeah, they punched up the music a lot more.
Well, because they're musicals, right?
By some people.
The only thing I wish that movies like this would advertise, and nothing against it, if something is a musical, I feel you have to advertise that.
Yeah, recently the new Willy Wonka movie, a lot of people didn't know it was a musical.
That's it. It's like because not everybody. My sister hates musicals.
Yeah, some people can't sit through it. I mean, I can sometimes. It's not my favorite genre.
No, if it's good, I will. Like I'm trying to think of something that was a musical. Well, like the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka. That's technically a musical, I guess, because it's got songs. But
yeah.
But like I'm sorry, but I can't even watch The Wizard of Oz anymore.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say I loved Wicked.
Yeah.
I love the Broadway show.
Do you think Sister Act 2 is a good case for a sequel that's better than the original?
Well, they're just so different. I don't remember. I guess I'm trying to remember. The first one is when she kind of goes into the school.
Well, because wasn't she hiding from
hiding like a witness protection type thing against mobsters. And okay, yeah, more is coming back to me as I think about it. But when I think about Sister Act, I usually think about the second one because like I said, I like the music that a lot, much better than in the first one. I couldn't sing a song from the first one, but I remember the story. I think it was just a totally different movie. It was more serious. I think the stakes were higher. I think you felt like he was in more danger for real.
I do. I will say that
more slapstick kind of stuff.
I think you're right in saying that the music is better in the second one. It's if it's not better, it's more memorable.
Yeah,
so
the story in the first one is it's just totally different. Like she connects with this group of students that are kind of troubled in the school. One girl is kind of like living with a deadbeat mom, I think, and I think I'm thinking of the right movie. But
it sounds it. I'm actually not that
makes in their lives and stuff like that, and connects with them. And the second one, I don't remember that being a part of it at all. It's just more of a comedy.
Yeah.
And
but I think you're right. There's more? It's almost like it's not a different genre of movie, but it's definitely a lot different. Which honestly kind of makes it not really a bad thing because it maybe separates. Because how many sequels are just a screen by screen reshot of the original?
Well, some people say that about Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, that they're just so similar. But I am like, I don't see it too much.
I honestly don't. And to be completely honest with you, and I'm the only person that I know that thinks this, I like the second one better.
You told me that before, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't like the second one better, but I don't dislike it. I really like the second one, except for the villain. I know that's part of the movie, but the villain to me wasn't that great, but I like a lot of the other stuff in the movie. I like the character moments between the team.
Yeah.
Seeing what they did and how they're seen after the first movie. I like all that stuff. But I thought they could have done a little bit better with the villain. But that's my opinion.
No, you know what? I would say I'm in agreement with that in general.
All right, so the next movie after Sister Act 2 in 1993 is Grumpy Old Men.
Oh, okay.
Comedy.
I enjoyed this movie. I particularly like the opening scene playing the song "Heat Wave."
Remind me,
In
what's the opening scene like?
they're playing that song, "We're having a heat wave,"
Yeah.
and it's just showing them. They're not even in it yet. The people aren't in. They're just showing like the town they live in, and it's in Minnesota, so there's just piles and piles of snow, and
Oh, I see.
yeah, these guys just spend the whole movie just watching each other. You know how old people
I
watch
love
each
this
other through.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember it well. Jack Lemmon,
and
Walter
yeah,
Matthau.
yeah, and Anne Margaret was the
Yeah.
female lead, and
Good.
I really felt
cast.
like it was like any given neighborhood where people are actually acting like
And
this.
they acted like my grandpa, like Walter
Yeah.
Matthau plays this curmudgeon old man who's really similar to how my real grandpa is.
Yeah. Wait a minute, I see Christopher McDonald's name in there. He was Shooter McGavin.
Was he? Is
Yeah, Christopher McDonald is that's Shooter McGavin from
Happy Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, the grumpy old I didn't
I
see
can't
the
place what
sequel.
character he played in this movie though.
No, I can't remember. You know what? He might have been the guy because remember one of the characters was getting his house foreclosed on because he couldn't afford his mortgage anymore. And the guy that
That's
came
the
to the house,
son. I don't
I
think it
think.
was him though. I think that was someone else.
Oh,
'Cause I
okay.
can picture that guy, and that's not Christopher McDonald, or at least
Oh, okay. You know what? Yeah, you're right. It doesn't sound like the same voice, but no, this movie was fun, and it was you know just to watch them grumpy old men hate each other, and then this lady comes in and challenges their friendship and who they are, and
the father. Remember the father who
Burgess
played
Meredith, right?
Penguin in the
Yeah.
old Batman series, which I just
Bur-
found out recently that was the
Burgess,
same guy.
that's Burgess Meredith, right?
Is that his name?
He also in Rocky. Rocky, you're gonna skinny old white guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Who played the Penguin? Yeah, Burgess Meredith. Exactly.
Wow, he was wow, he looks so
Yeah,
young there.
that's the young photo of him. So yeah, I just recently found out that was the guy who played the Penguin, and then it all clicked for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's so him.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, that's cool.
but
Grumpy Old Man is a thumbs up movie. It is really good. The conflict in it is good, and the
yeah,
friendship is
there's a
fun. And
twist at the end whenever you think one of them dies. And it
yeah,
got me. I thought he was because then they show the next scene. It pans to a church, and you're thinking because he was just in the hospital about to die, and then they all of a sudden next scene they're at a
yeah.
church, and
I
it's
like
like,
that
oh
they.
crap, we're having a funeral, and
I
it
was gonna
turned out to
say,
be a wedding.
yeah, and they made it ambiguous enough so that you were like, oh boy, it's like what's
Yeah,
happening,
I was
and I.
only 10, so it fooled me. All
All right.
right,
What's the last movie on the list?
our
I'm all
last movie is a sad one.
oh boy, oh
This isn't
jeez.
the joyful movie at all, but classic. I believe it won a lot of Oscars. The Schindler's
Oh, I'll
List.
bet. And I
List.
I like that movies like this exist. I don't like that they have to.
I know, and
That's
I've never been able to sit through this movie.
it's difficult. It
One
really,
sitting.
but it's like I don't like when people will purposely avoid viewing stuff like this. It's like no, you need to know that this stuff happened.
Yeah, I watched this movie when I was in college. So that was 10 years later after it
Yeah,
had been out for 10 years. And then I saw it when I was in college. So
yeah.
one that
No,
it was really, really heavy. And you got to be at a certain point. Like I was 10 when it came out. I don't think I
oh, yeah.
should
I
have
wouldn't.
seen it at
I
that point,
wouldn't. I wouldn't show that. I wouldn't introduce this to a 10-year-old because they're probably not. You're not going to understand.
No, you wouldn't have gotten it. No.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So, but no,
it's so moving. Who's in it that well, it's a Spielberg movie.
yeah.
His outing for the 1993. I don't think he had another movie that we went over.
The thing I like about that I was going to compare this to was I was watching that Pawn Star.
Sorry, Jurassic Park was him as well.
Yeah, duh. Yeah.
Interesting that he had two huge movies.
I know, right? He did Jurassic Park and Shin. Have you read the book Jurassic Park?
I tried to when I was in high school.
It's
It's so different and
I was going to say it's nothing like the movie.
nothing like the movie.
It's not the book wasn't about what the movie's about. Like it was
No,
about it was about, I'll get into that
it's
later,
very
but
technical and
yeah.
just
Yeah.
not really character driven, and not it just, at least it was like totally different characters. It didn't have the plot of
It wouldn't have been as good as a movie if they didn't make changes though.
no,
You
yeah,
know,
they definitely did that right.
people wanted to see an amusement park with extinct animals in it because it's neat. They didn't the genetics of it were inconsequential, you know, it was, so but no, Schindler's List, I like that it exists because in the same way that in World War II, Britain had infant-sized gas masks for in case they, you know, and it's like, I'm glad you thought of that, but that shouldn't have to
That is a
exist.
failure of humanity.
Yeah.
This
Well,
this whole
yeah,
period of time, and it's still going on, but
yeah.
it's like the fact that a movie like this can be out there for people to watch and see what happened, and to still have stuff like that happening in the world.
And the people that bother me are the ones that don't want to see this. I don't want to know about that. It's like, no, well, you should know about it.
You should learn
Because
from.
if yeah, it's like that's why they don't. This movie's not made just strictly for entertainment. It's made so you'll maybe think about yourself or the world and say, wow,
Can't believe
you
that
know,
happened. Wow,
you
never
can
let
make
that
your
happen again. Yeah.
yeah. It really, but and the fact that it's in that's in black and white, right? I,
Yeah. It either
yeah,
is or it's one of those movies where it's like such a
drab would be the word I would use, like
grab tone. It
the
all
boy in the
consumes that
stripe.
it could. Yeah, I think you're right. It was black and white.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson is in it.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't really remember
Hmm.
who else is in it, but
Hmm.
um, let me look
Yeah,
up. I believe
you,
it did win some Oscars.
yeah. Usually movies like that, you don't want to put like Tom Hanks in it. You don't want this big A-list actor. It has to be people that act but are fairly like not
Oh,
super known.
Ray Fiennes was in it. Ben Kingsley.
Oh yeah, Ben King's. You know what's a good movie you should check out that's got Ben Kingsley in it is they made a movie about the Bray Bradbury story, A Sound of Thunder,
Okay.
and Ben Kingsley's in that. You should check that out if obviously you're a movie person. So,
Well, real quick, Schindler's List accolades, Academy Award,
oh
Best
okay,
Picture, it did
film
win.
ending, cinematography. Okay,
Best Director won. Steven
7 award,
Spielberg.
7. Huh.
Screenplay,
Score.
original score, editing, cinematography, and art
Art,
direction
yeah,
all win.
stuff like that. A movie like
Nominated.
that will do well in cinematography.
Liam
Best
Neeson
edited.
nominated for Best Actor.
Oh, okay.
Ray Fiennes got nominated for supporting.
Yeah, sound,
Sound.
costumes.
Yeah, they didn't
What's
win, but they were
BAFTA?
nominated. So
That's
big,
cool though.
big movie for 1993.
Yeah, that was no stuff like that. I find to be very groundbreaking, and I movies like that are important. That's another thing too. Those are important, especially culture. That it's a very culturally relevant movie.
Go through these movies one more time, just real quick.
Okay,
Quick thumbs down or
this will
thumbs
be
up or
fun.
thumbs down.
This will be fun because I was such a huge Siskel and Ebert fan. I always wanted to take
Yep.
part in that. So,
So let's go. Here's the rule.
all right,
Would you want to see this movie? Like
again,
sit down and watch it. Not that do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? But would you want to watch it right now? Yes.
okay,
All right.
okay.
So let's
I'll
go.
still,
Thumbs up,
I'll
thumbs down. Number
okay.
one, Leprechaun.
Let,
I'm gonna
I'm,
go with.
what do you? I'm going down.
I'm
I
going to
would.
see this.
Yeah,
I'm not
it was
interested.
it was neat when it came out, but those movies don't age well, and I have no interest in it.
Yeah, at this point,
So
I would not want to revisit it.
yeah, thumbs
Next
down.
up, thumbs down for Groundhog Day.
Oh, definitely thumbs up.
I should
Bill
have
Murray.
watched this movie today, being that it's Groundhog Day as
Yeah,
we're recording this.
yeah.
And I did a post on TikTok about the 3 greatest moments in Groundhog Day, the movie. So if anybody listening, go check that out.
Cool.
But it's my favorite movie, I think. I think it's probably my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
I
Okay.
think it is.
I could see it being. It's not
in my life where I
It's
just
not my
watched it
favorite.
over and over and over again.
It's not my favorite movie, but I can totally understand it being somebody's favorite movie because that's a big thumbs up for Bill Murray.
Great movie. All right, so that's a big thumbs up for both of us. So we got a thumbs down for Leprechaun, thumbs up for Groundhog. Would you want to watch Army of Darkness right now?
No.
Give it a thumbs down.
It's just it was fun when I was 18 or 20, but it's as an adult, I hate to say, I don't want to try to sound like I'm being some mature guy, but this stuff doesn't entertain me that much anymore.
No, so. It's there's nothing really there to go back for. You saw there's not really a message. There's not really anything to it, you know? I mean,
it'd be fun to like get drunk and watch at a party.
Yeah, if it was on, I might sit down and watch it until I was ready to leave. I wouldn't want to stay and watch it.
So far we agree with each other 3 out of 3.
All right, here we go. The next one up is, would you want to sit down and watch Fire in the Sky?
Yes. I
also would want to see this because it's been a while since I have seen it. And since I've seen it, I've learned a lot more about this topic.
Yeah. And I think
believe more in it now.
And I think it almost seems like this type of movie gets more interesting as you grow older.
Exactly.
You know?
Thumbs up or thumbs down for our next movie? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 3.
No, down. The only thing good in it is that there's a song in it by ZZ Top, and that Tarzan Boy song is in it, and that's good. It's just too corny, even for its day.
Bad. No. Yeah. All right. Next up, would you want to watch Dave?
No. It's too boring.
It's a boring one for you. I would like to see it again to see if it holds up for me because it's been many years since I've seen it.
Yeah,
good memories of it, and I've always been like sort of a historian and interested in the presidency.
Yeah,
it's like that, and I like movies about the president. This was an interesting take on it. So it's got Sigourney Weaver. It's got Kevin Kline.
Yeah,
I really like.
No, I will say it's
a thumbs up.
I would say it's a quality movie, but right now I'm just not interested in it.
Want to see it? Not interested. All right.
Yeah. So that's the first one we disagree on.
The first fork in the road. All right.
Yeah.
It's good. Cliffhanger, 1993's Cliffhanger. I know they're redoing it.
You know what? I'll go thumbs up on this one. I'll watch that one again.
Thumbs down on this one.
Oh yeah.
It has that beginning scene.
Yeah.
After that, it's just boring to me. It's like, okay, they're chasing each other on a mountain. They're this, they're that.
Yeah.
Just I
get you. Mine's not a strong thumbs up, but I would watch it again. I still like it, and I think part of it too is that I'm a big Stallone fan. I'm really a big anything he does to me is like, yeah, I'm gonna watch. Like I like his Judge Dredd movie.
Yeah, but Demolition Man was his best one in this year. I would definitely put that over Cliffhanger. So it's a no for me.
Okay.
Right. Super Mario Brothers. Now I did just see this movie, so I'm going to give it a thumbs up because I like it, and I just saw it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't turned off by it. So
no, I'm actually going to go a thumbs down just because it's like
you're not interested. You wouldn't.
It was
bad it really is.
It was neat when I first saw it, but it's just like there is the cult part of it that I do like. Like if there was a group of people watching it at like a Comic-Con, I would probably sit with them for a bit. But I'm not going to sit down and watch this movie by myself.
I actually liked it so much. I think if I saw it and I was walking past the TV, I would be to sit down and watch the whole thing again.
I think part of it for me too is what it was supposed to be at that age when it came out.
You had expectations. I didn't.
Yeah.
Years. Yeah. So, to me, it just showed up. And I was like, wow, as a kid, I liked it. And then now all these years later, I don't know, what's been 30 years later, it's like, I had fun with it.
Wow.
I was probably drunk or something.
So that's 3 in a row we've disagreed on. So, or 4, isn't it?
Well,
Cliffhanger, Mario Brothers. I forget what the other two were.
Dave. You said
Dave. Yeah, Dave.
Hangman, Cliffhanger.
Dave, Cliffhanger, and Mario Brothers. Okay, so that's 3. That's 3 in a row.
3. All right. Next up, Jurassic Park.
Oh,
I did just see this one. It holds up.
Yeah, me too. That's what I thought too. I was wondering,
I
will
like
it
the
hold up?
acting.
Yeah.
Got a great cast. Steven
Yeah.
Spielberg.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. So that's a thumbs up from both of us.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Last Action Hero. Would you want to see this one?
No, it's not a good Schwarzenegger movie.
Really? I don't remember
It's too
bad.
It's too corny.
And out of curiosity, I would give it a thumbs up. I want to see it again.
Okay.
Just to see.
I didn't like it because he was playing like a kind of a G-rated superhero for little kids. So
yeah, he
didn't really get to play the badass that he usually is.
If I saw it now at my age, it might come off like that to me as a little.
Yeah, there's a reason that this one isn't known by Schwarzenegger fans.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies. I'm curious about it because I know a lot of his filmography.
Yeah,
I've seen him many times, but this is one that I've seen once, and maybe even in the theater.
Yeah,
I remember parts of it, and it seemed good back then, and
it's
just not one I've been able to review.
It's not very good.
I'm gonna try to see.
I'm going thumbs down on that one.
I want to see it. I'm giving it a thumbs up.
Oh, okay.
All right. Number 12, Dennis the Menace.
You know what? I go thumbs up.
I wouldn't want to sit through it again. I'm sorry.
I did.
Matthau, he's in it, and I'd rather see Grumpy Old Men.
So, I can understand that.
This is one where it's.
I do like the Andy Griffith style era of pranks,
especially the villain is Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's kind of too kiddie for me at this point. I
think part of it too for me, Mike.
Anymore.
I could probably be convinced to change my thumbs up to a down because I think part of it too is nostalgia because I was just a really big fan of the comic strip. Mm-hmm. And the you know what else too?
I'll give it that, but I just don't think I'd want to sit through it again.
You know what? You know what? I'm going to join you in the thumbs down. Actually.
Oh no, you're sitting down and watching this now. You can't change your mind.
Well, I was more thinking it was like Richie Rich with Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, there's one I'd watch again too.
That is a genuinely great movie. I really do. But I'm gonna go with you on Dennis the Menace here and not sit through it.
From both of us. All right.
Yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's 2?
No.
Did not want to see this one.
This movie did not need to be made. It's just, come on. The jokes were there in the first one. We get it.
First one says where it's at.
Yeah.
Free Willy. I don't have too much of a recollection of this movie. We talked about it, but I think I saw it once. I'm gonna go. I didn't want to sit through it again. It's
I don't want to. I already have the message of we should treat wild animals better.
I got the message. When I see movies like this, it's hard to watch them again knowing what the animal is going to go through.
Yeah.
And it kind of turns me off. It's like, all right, I saw it. I got what I needed out of it.
I feel that too. I got the message. You would already have me as an activist. You don't have to convince me. You don't got to
sit through and watch those movies repeatedly.
Yeah.
At least I can't personally.
The Michael Jackson songs are good. I mean, that's
I found it hard. It took me how long has Avatar 2 been out? It took me just till recently to watch that for the second time because Avatar 2, the cruelty to the animals was difficult for me. I couldn't watch it again for a while.
Yeah.
Well, just recently.
That stuff's hard to watch again.
I actually had to walk out in the scenes where they were capturing those big whale-like creatures.
Oh, yeah. No, I can. Yeah, so I'm not watching this one again.
Nah.
Oh.
Hocus Pocus.
Okay, yeah.
We both are a thumbs up on
we this is a unanimous decision.
It's 2 thumbs down for me, so it's
I don't understand I don't understand the movie. I don't understand their fans. I don't understand the lore of it.
Another one where it had an unnecessary sequel.
Yeah. And how did this movie not just get forgotten over time? Why didn't?
What makes it stick around? Like any other Hallmark channel,
right? Yeah, why isn't the movie? You remember the movie Small Soldiers with the toys that came?
Yeah.
Why isn't that like this movie? Why don't we all flock to that on Halloween?
Talked about that one, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's forget.
I don't even want to see. Oh,
Coneheads.
This is legitimately one of my favorite movies of all time.
This is a big thumbs up for me because it's been so long, but I have got to see it again. I like of the ones we've gone through so far, this is the one where I would want to see like tonight.
You remember who her boyfriend was in this movie, right?
That's the reason why I want to see it, because
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley is in
Chris Farley's in.
Yeah.
But Dan Aykroyd's and Jane, because they're the Conehead, they're the original Coneheads, and just their roles in this are so, and like Tom Arnold's in it, and the cop David Spade, and it's just it's a fun. It's easily the best.
Too?
What? Yeah, he plays the ass kisser to the main immigration guy. He's the one that just like repeats everything he says.
Coneheads. I gotta see.
Yeah, David Spade.
So it's not on a streaming service right now, but you can rent it on YouTube and.
Oh, okay.
For $4 on Apple TV, and
it's honestly Michael Richards is in it. Kramer from Seinfeld is in the opening scene.
Right, you said that.
Yeah.
So for all those reasons, it's going to be a big thumbs up for me. That's the one I would put on my watch list right now.
I will go out of my way to this. When I used to have a VHS collection, this was one of the first movies I had, and I would watch it all. That I love this movie.
It is such a VHS era movie.
Yes, it is.
All right, next up is The Fugitive.
Oh, yes. For sure.
Movie. I liked it a lot. Would I want to see it right now? I got to tell you, when I see this on cable TV, I sit down and watch it. And I will. It's just one of those you can't ignore. Yeah.
Every time I watch it,
it's a thumbs up.
You're still in suspense every time you watch it. It's like you.
So well written.
Yeah.
The way he figures out things and goes.
Did you know that this is a Did you know that this is a remake?
Yep.
There's a 50s movie, The Fugitive. So I didn't know that. I don't like remakes generally unless the movie is from a different era.
Which it was, yeah.
The reason The Fly was a good remake was because it came out in a different era. We had a whole new set of technology to make movies.
Fly, that's a...
The Jeff Goldblum, I love that. Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies, too.
That's another one where I was so messed up watching that movie once when I was a little kid. I don't know how old I was, but I was young.
Yeah.
I stayed awake from ever watching that movie again to this day.
Yeah.
Because I just have these memories of just the transformation scene and the machine and just like... Oh.
No, it's intense. It really is. But Harrison Ford also is one of my more favorite actors, too.
Directed The Fly. Was that... Who's messed up enough to make that movie?
I'll know who it is when you say it. It's 86, is it? Jeff Goldblum's in it.
Cronenberg. I knew it was Cronenberg.
I didn't know. No, I didn't know that.
Body horror type stuff. Yeah. David Cronenberg. He directed
this. That's the effects in that are right up there with The Thing by John Carpenter.
Let me go through real quick. This is a little tangent, but David Cronenberg. Let me look up his filmography because he's famous for body horror. Shivers. Oof.
That stuff. That I but the thing is, the people that are into that, the people that are into that stuff are usually like grounded, regular people, but they just have this side that's like
an outlet.
Yeah.
All right, here's some of his movies. Let's see. Shivers. That's one that's really famous for just being a really messed up movie. Scanners. Videodrome, The Dead Zone. What else did he do? Just a lot of these Spider. A lot of these are just some messed up.
Yeah. There's some mess.
Fly. He was a perfect director for that. But that's why I never.
No, I love Harrison Ford too. I think
we were talking about The Fugitive.
Yeah, I think my favorite Harrison Ford character might be Indiana Jones. I think he hates. Someone said he hates Han Solo.
He talks like he does, but I mean, they paid him millions of dollars. So how much can you really hate doing your job and making?
Yeah,
he hates the fame that goes along with it, and like the torrent of fans that rush him and Star Wars nerdy questions.
Yeah, because that's I I can understand. Like, he's one of those guys where I've met some celebrities in public, and like sometimes I'll just nod and I'll say hello or whatever. But
Yeah, you
I don't
shouldn't be all crazy with them.
unless it's like someone that's known to like people to approach them, like Adam Sandler.
Jack Black.
Yeah, I'd be up. It's hey,
He'll get
oh,
crazy with you. He's like, I've seen videos of him being,
yeah,
let's take
awesome.
a selfie. Oh my God, let's start jumping around and singing songs together on the street.
Oh my God,
I've
that's
seen
gonna
him
be
go
so
crazy.
fun. But
All right, so
like,
it's a thumbs up on Fugitive, right?
yes,
All
big
right.
time, big thumbs up.
Jason Goes to Hell, thumbs down.
No, yeah, that's not entertaining.
The only Jason I would want to see right now, or not even, was this the original Friday the 13th,
Yeah,
which didn't
that
even feature Jason.
right.
The only
That
one of the
well,
franchise I would.
the reason I want to see the first one too is because they were so much better than there was an actual story
There was
before it
actual
became.
suspense too, and
Yeah,
creepiness, and
I'm not grossed out by stuff, so I'm not. I don't care. So, but yeah, thumbs down on
thumbs
that.
down on that one. Yeah, it
I'm
was
not.
bad. The
I'm not
opening
sit.
scene is worth a watch because it's kind of fun to watch him get blown apart.
Yeah,
The rest of the movie is a repeat of everything else that happens in every other movie. He gets
it's a bunch of cliches
kill a
all
bunch of
lined up.
people, and then one person survives or something. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all been
yeah,
done. The Good Son for me right now, I would watch it. I'll give it a
yeah.
thumb.
I will. You know what? I want to see it again because it's been so long and I can't remember most of it. And I think now, as an adult, I would have a better appreciation for what it is.
I'm a little nervous about the 25% rating though, because I was 10 when this came out, and I used to identify really with Macaulay Culkin. Like, oh, I thought I
Right.
could be him, like he was me in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
No, I get you, and I
I
want to
had the
see how.
blonde hair, blue eyes. I was
I'd like to see. I also want to see him act again as not a goofy kid
yeah,
run.
but I'm
So
wondering if it's going to be a totally different movie as an adult watching it. But
yeah,
what I remember, I think the problem is people were just expecting a family friendly movie,
yeah,
and it was
because of who was in it. What do they call that? Being typecast when they always expect you to be the same person.
right.
Yeah,
I wish he would have done more because, like I said, My Girl was a good. I liked him in that.
yeah, yeah. And Richie Rich is actually my favorite Macaulay Culkin movie. So
Yeah, he had a little good little run there for a while in the '90s.
yeah,
He made all his money, and then
yeah.
he did to work again. Hopefully,
Well, he actually does well. He's a fairly normal adult.
I've
Um,
seen him here and there on
Yeah,
little
he's been
videos
on.
and stuff.
I think the Angry Video Game Nerd has had him on his YouTube channel before,
That's on some
and
YouTubers. Yeah, I did remember seeing that.
and he did. I mean, he makes appearances and stuff like that, and and it's like he didn't turn out to be some freaking psycho or
Yeah,
would
from what I can tell, he's more normal.
yeah. Well, he's
A lot
married
of those
to.
child actors turn out to
Do,
be.
do you know who Brenda Song is?
Uh-uh.
Look up his wife. She's a child actor too. She used to be on the Ashley Tisdale and her did but she played the Ditz.
What's her name? Last name?
And Brenda Song.
Okay, I got it.
Um, yeah, that's his wife. But she was a child actor, and she invented this term called the Prindle,
Wow, she's
which
beautiful, by the way.
yeah. No, she really is. She got into a car and was taking a driver's lesson, and she's like, I know what the Prindle is. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? It's the gear shift that says PD.
Ah,
And she thought it was called the park reverse
yeah, I got you.
neutral drive. Yeah, she thought it was called the Prindle. And like, there's people that say that
So she was on
because,
this show I used to watch a lot called Scandal.
oh, I know that show. I'm not familiar with the show, but I've been told about it. So I think my ex-wife watches it.
All right.
So
Next up is that's a thumbs up. That's
yeah.
Demolition Man. Would you watch that? Would you be interested?
I'll watch it again.
Twist your arm. I
Yeah.
gotta watch it again. I love
I
it.
actually haven't watched it since it came out. The last time I watched it was in 1994. So I
It
would.
is available on streaming. No, it's you got to have a subscription to Philo. That's one I don't own, or you can rent it for $4.
Hmm,
Dang it!
cool.
I was hoping I'd be able to watch that one too, because that's another one I would like to see. I like Stallone in that one. It's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a thumbs up. What about Beverly Hillbillies? Would you want to see that?
No, I'm gonna pass. I mean, it's entertaining, but a lot of those jokes for me don't really hit the second time.
Out of curiosity, and I just remembered a detail. Dolly Parton makes a cameo in it. I'd want to see this movie, right?
Oh.
I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's one I would want to revisit just to see how it holds up.
Yeah. I know
Schneider's in it. I think he's pretty funny back in those times. These days, he's a little off the wall, but
yeah. It's for me. It's one of those movies where 10 minutes into it, I'm going to realize that it just isn't working for me anymore. You know. So
you should give it a chance. We do got to watch a movie at some point and do a review. You know?
Yeah. I favor that idea.
And see. I should be able to pick one that you got to watch, and you got to pick one I got to watch.
Okay. So, cool. That would be fun. Sounds good.
Maybe I'll push you and make you watch this one. All right. Next up is Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it?
Oh yeah.
Watch?
Yes, definitely.
It is definitely. I watch it a couple times a year. Every time during Halloween.
I don't. And it's one of those. For me, Christmas movies, I only like to watch them near December, but this type of movie here I could watch anytime.
Let me tell you, I could watch this movie and not finish it and be like, I could fall asleep to it. It's one of those movies where you can just put it on and just be like comforted. You could just watch it, and
it's fun to watch, but it's also fun to have on, and you don't have to be paying close attention to it.
Yeah, and you can get the deeper meaning if you sit down and actually watch it, or you can't. It works on many levels. Yeah. Next up is RoboCop 3. For me, it's a big thumbs up. Just kidding.
Okay, I was saying I'm going down with this. It's like I barely remember all of it from watching it before, and you know what? I saw it the same time as I saw Demolition Man, and I still remember Demolition Man, and I don't bother remembering this movie because it just.
I'm not even morbidly curious about it. It doesn't have the same actor, which really made a difference.
Yeah, no, it does. And you know what?
Is that his name? Who played the original?
Yeah, I think that sound. I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds familiar. But yeah, that it's not very good. They ended the franchise after that for a reason.
Peter Weller was the original.
Peter Weller, yeah.
Cop. He was recast and he didn't a star in RoboCop 3. So
yeah,
that is what I'm going to attribute. Plus it just had a horrible story.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. It was just it felt like the script. Oh yeah, Addams Family. I'll watch that again.
Addams Family Values. Yes, it's worth a rewatch.
Yeah,
I can watch it once a year.
Yeah. It's not a it's not a movie I would watch often, but it's entertaining.
I've seen it recently. I think last Halloween. I think we probably put it on.
Cool.
You get into those little Halloween modes.
Yeah.
And you want to.
And it's kind of dark. You know, it's not all bright and shiny and rainbows. It's.
What about Miss Doubtfire? Would you give that another watch?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. That's
a thumbs up as well.
Robin Williams movie, and especially now knowing what happened to him, I'll watch any Robin Williams movie, just knowing, just knowing he liked doing that because it made people happy.
Yeah.
So.
It's sad what happened to him, and actually, I heard behind the scenes he wasn't so joyfully,
they tell people because I try to tell people this too. It's like anytime a person does that, well, they were always so funny, and it's like, because they don't freaking want people to be sad, man.
Because they're giving so much of themselves,
right? Yeah, it's like
that is a sacrifice to themselves, and then they end up, in a depression or something.
Yeah, no, it really. And then the thing is, they're usually intelligent people, so they hide it really well. They don't show it.
Yeah. Well, we got a few more here. Would you give Sister Act 2 Back in the Habit a rewatch?
Nah, I'm gonna pass on that. I'm not really up for a musical anymore.
I really like this movie.
Do you?
Wouldn't want to watch it.
Yeah,
I've seen it enough. I'd rather listen to the soundtrack. Honestly, I could put it on in the car on a road trip or something, and sing that out. But
Yeah.
the movie
Yeah, I
itself and
get
the plot and the competition, that they're in between the schools and stuff like that.
yeah.
Like, yeah, they've done other movies like that. I've seen how it ends. It's like I like the music, but I wouldn't want to see the
Yeah.
movie.
But yeah, I don't need to see this again. I know what it is. So grumpy
Grumpy
old
Old
man.
Man. Would you want to take another stab at that one?
Uh you know what? Yeah, I will. Everybody in that movie is everyone that's the star, a headliner in that movie is really on their game.
See,
And,
it's a thumbs up for you. All right, for me, it's a thumbs up. It's a movie that you could put on and it's just sort of comforting. Like you said,
yeah,
it's like a classic middle America or
yeah.
something feeling to the neighborhood they live in and just the way that they
And since
that.
I since the events that happen in it are more about their feelings and stuff, you
Mhm.
can miss a scene and it's okay. You still know why they act a certain way to each other in the movie. You know what I mean?
And
And
one of the issues that Jack Lemon's character, his house is being
yeah,
foreclosed on.
yep,
And it's like now that I own my own house, I could watch this nowadays and probably get a whole other thing out of this movie. The stress that
right,
you're going through, and it's just like it's got a lot of those life events in it that would
yeah,
really mean a
yeah.
lot.
And I think since it's more about the movie's more about life in general rather than actual events that are happy, that like you. That's why it's got repeat value because
And it's
it's
funny too.
yeah,
It's got
yeah.
a lot
No,
of
and
heart too, though.
they're interacting. That's what it is too. It's like yeah, it's got comedy in it, but it's also kind of sad sometimes. So
Two thumbs up.
yeah, that's a
The
good movie.
last movie of 1993. Would you want to watch it? Schindler's List. Would you give it a
Uh,
watch right now?
you know what? I don't need to see it again.
It's a
That's
thumbs down. Again, not
yeah.
criticism of the movie at all.
The
It
movie
needed to
is
be made, and
the
uh,
movie. Like I would
best.
rate the movie a thumbs up because it's excellent. But
I
I
couldn't watch it. I wouldn't.
I'm aware of what happened, and I'm aware of what humans are capable of, and
The thing is,
I
though, I would want to watch it with someone else who hasn't seen it.
hasn't. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
It'd be like, okay, we're gonna watch this, and like knowing what it's about.
It's
It's like
also
this
just a
is.
very long movie. It's over 3 hours, I believe.
Oh, is it really? Ooh, how long is Schindler's List?
Yeah, it is 3 hours, 15 minutes.
Wow, geez, that's a Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it couldn't have been more well done.
Yeah.
Spielberg was the best director to make that movie.
Oh yeah.
It deserves all the accolades it gets, but just it's so heavy.
Yeah. I don't think it's something
I
I
would
could
want to
handle.
watch it again. I might be sort of a middle thumb. I would want to watch it in segments, kind of like
Yeah.
break. Then
No, you have to take a break.
no.
You almost have to take a break from watching it.
But it's not like a movie that I would get excited to pop in right now. And
Like, oh hey, let's go rent this and
yeah,
play. You don't play it at a barbecue.
it's almost like it's because it's not, like we said earlier, it's not an entertainment value movie,
Right.
which is what we use movies for, is for entertainment.
Yeah.
More almost like a documentary, kind of like
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Not in the way it was shot, but just like it's showing you the reality of some horrible things.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the
You
thing.
don't really, most people don't want to go watch something like that.
I think everyone needs to see it though.
Necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
All right. Well, we agreed on a lot of them, but there were some or
Yeah, we probably had 5 in there that we were split on, which is fine.
I tell you, my best one though that we disagreed on is the Super Mario Brothers. That.
I could be convinced to maybe watch that. It might be a bit against my will, but
He might walk out of the room, come back, fall.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think that's probably the best one of mine that I gave a thumbs down to, would be the Mario Brothers movie.
There's that. And okay, everyone, that's going to do it for us this week. I want to thank you all for joining me yet again for another journey down memory lane. I hope you enjoyed our conversation about the many fantastic and not so great movies of 1993. Next, we'll discuss the video games that were released that year as well. So stay tuned for that episode to drop in the near future. And I hope you'll join me online. Just head over to one of my social media pages. You can find me by simply searching for The Nostalgia King or clicking on the links listed in the description of this episode. So go ahead and give me a follow. I'm always posting a lot of retro content that I think you'll enjoy. And don't forget to share the show with your friends to help me out as I grow the channel. I appreciate any and all support you all give me as always. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Nostalgia Podcast. Until next time, have a great day.